Did you know that Max Verstappen just said that Red Bull's glory days are over? Yes, he said it after finishing second at Spa, and his words are causing a stir within the team. Do you think Red Bull is losing its advantage? Let me know in the comments. So, what's really going on at Red Bull that has Verstappen so worried? In this video, I explain everything that happened after sprint qualifying at Spa 2025 and why Max Verstappen has issued one of the harshest warnings to his team yet. Max Verstappen has just issued a warning that few expected. After finishing second in the 2025 Spa-Francorchamps sprint qualifying, the Dutch driver was direct and blunt. Red Bull's days of dominance are over. Yes, he said it that clearly. And coming from the reigning world champion, that's much more than a simple complaint after a poor result. Spa wasn't a disaster for Max. In fact, scoring a second place in the sprint allowed him to extend his championship lead. But he himself made it clear that that's not enough. He said it's positive to extend the points gap, but at the same time admitted something that worries the entire Red Bull team. The gap with McLaren is growing, and in his own words, it's unrealistic to think they can win races by coming back. The most alarming thing is that his statement isn't based on a vague feeling or a moment's impression. There's hard data to back him up. In the final sprint qualifying session, Oscar Piastri gained almost half a second on him. Half a second in modern Formula One is an eternity. While Piastri's McLaren MCL 39 clocked a 1 minute and 40.5 seconds, Max could barely stop the clock at 1 minute and 40.987 seconds. That, for a team like Red Bull, accustomed to dominating unchallenged, is a direct blow to their technical pride. But Max didn't stop there. He went further. He said the car, the RB21, felt competitive, but only in certain parts of a circuit. On the straights, there was simply nothing to fight with. The lack of straight-line speed, especially on the Kemmel Straight, was evident. And not only that, he also spoke about the loss of grip at high speed, something that brutally penalizes the car's overall performance at Spa. Let's remember that we're talking about one of the most demanding circuits on the calendar. And as if all that weren't enough, Verstappen uttered a statement that should set off alarm bells in Milton Keynes. During the break, the team must analyze every detail. Every millimeter of the RB21 must be checked. The lack of confidence in the car is no longer a suspicion. Max said it clearly. Confidence has fallen. A lot of work needs to be done on aerodynamic stability, hybrid traction, and overall setup, especially considering sectors like Eau Rouge, where the combination of power and control is absolutely critical. If the car doesn't respond in that area, the consequence isn't just losing time. It's not being able to fight for the win. The pressure is evident, and this has put the spotlight on a series of updates that, according to various sources, are already underway in the Red Bull garage. The goal is one, to close the growing gap with McLaren before it becomes irreversible. One of the first modifications being discussed is a complete overhaul of the front wing. According to internal sources, engineers are reportedly working on redesigning the first two wing flaps, a key section that directly influences how airflow impacts the rest of the car. The idea behind this change is not simply to add downforce, but to do so without altering the overall balance of the car. It's a fine technical adjustment, but if executed correctly, it could offer a real step forward in performance, especially in high-speed corners, where the RB21 has begun to show shortcomings. Another element that is generating buzz is the redesign of the side pods and engine cover. Leaked information suggests that Red Bull has increased the openings in the upper areas of the side pods, a measure designed to improve cooling of the power unit. This is especially important at thermally demanding circuits like Spa. But it's not just about keeping the temperature under control. Along with this, the side panels are also being adjusted to optimize airflow channeling to the rear areas of the car, in the hopes of reducing drag and improving efficiency at high speeds. In addition, there is talk of a change to the rear suspension deflectors, specifically the arm fairings. This modification would aim to reduce drag, allowing for greater speed on the straights without compromising stability. These elements often go unnoticed, but their influence on the behavior of airflow to the rear diffuser is crucial. If this area doesn't operate cleanly and efficiently, the car loses aerodynamic efficiency, which affects both cornering and traction on exits. All of this would be complemented by a broader package of updates that Red Bull has internally dubbed five-pronged, which would include tweaks to critical areas such as the barge boards, the car's floor, and some rear fairings. Although the team hasn't provided official details about this set of changes, the intention seems clear: to regain straight-line speed, improve stability in medium and fast corners, and give Max Verstappen a car that will allow him to once again dominate without reservation. But now the question everyone is asking is another: are these updates really working? Or are they just desperate attempts to stem a performance decline that is already underway? As rumors about updates intensify, Max Verstappen's attitude has shifted from concern to open demand. The four-time world champion isn't willing to sit idly by and watch his lead shrink. And he's making that clear, both within the team and to the media. His statements after sprint qualifying weren't just a technical analysis. They were a message. A reminder that if Red Bull wants to remain competitive, it must act with urgency and determination. Verstappen is no stranger to the pressures of a championship. He's been at the center of the fray for years and knows exactly when his car is up to scratch and when it isn't. At Spa, he wasn't. He made this clear by pointing out that we can no longer rely on miraculous comebacks from mid-position positions. He can do it once, maybe twice, but he can't build an entire championship on individual efforts if the car doesn't support him. That's why he spoke of the need for significant improvements, not minor tweaks. And that's why he was so emphatic in saying that the days of dominance are already a thing of the past if the team doesn't react now. From Red Bull, the official response has been cautious. They admit that the performance at Spa wasn't what they expected, and that they are already analyzing all possible data. But between the lines, tension is perceptible. The technical management, led by Laurent Mekies, has been put under scrutiny, not because of an isolated failure, but because of the growing feeling that the RB21's evolution isn't keeping pace with its rivals. Max has called for work on every detail, and the team is trying to show it's listening. Internally, Max is known to be extremely meticulous when it comes to the car's setup. His comments on aerodynamic stability, hybrid traction, and handling in critical areas like Eau Rouge weren't simply technical observations. They reflect a deep concern about how the car is performing in areas where it was previously dominant. But the most relevant aspect isn't just Max's reaction, but the weight his words carry within the team. And when he issues a warning like the one at Spa, it creates a domino effect that impacts every area of the team, from the engineers to those responsible for strategy and development. At this point in the season, Red Bull finds itself at a crossroads. If it can respond quickly and accurately to the demands of its star driver, it can maintain its lead. The general feeling is that Verstappen is taking one last chance before further hardening his stance. There has been no public talk of internal tensions or possible departures, but everyone knows the atmosphere has become more tense. Respect remains, but so does the urgency. If improvements aren't made in time, the decisions made after the break could have broader consequences than Red Bull imagines. With the summer break underway, all eyes are on what Red Bull will do in the coming weeks. The team now has a very limited window to react, reorganize its technical priorities, and bring real solutions that will return the RB21 to the level Max Verstappen demands. It's not just about responding to a poor race, but also about preventing what today seems like an isolated stumble from becoming a downward trend. The team, led by Laurent Mekies, plans to implement new adjustments at Zandvoort, a circuit where they have historically been strong. There, they could introduce refined versions of the updates that failed to deliver the performance leap at Spa. More aggressive simulator work and in-depth analysis of the data collected over the weekend in Belgium are also expected. Everything will be geared toward regaining straight-line speed, improving stability in fast corners, and once again offering Verstappen a car he can rely on lap after lap. Zandvoort will be more than just a home race for Max. It will be the ultimate test of whether Red Bull has understood the gravity of the situation. And even if they have the support of their fans and detailed knowledge of the track, none of that will help if the car doesn't show tangible improvement. Verstappen has already warned that lack of traction and aerodynamic instability are his main concerns. If these areas don't show progress, the internal friction between the driver and the team could begin to escalate more visibly. The coming months will also mark a key phase in planning for the following season. The decisions made now, both in terms of technical investment and development direction, will directly influence the 2026 car. What is expected therefore, is an immediate and sustained response from Red Bull. A good result in a single race is not enough. The team needs to demonstrate that it is still capable of evolving under pressure, adapting, innovating, and maintaining the technical leadership that allowed it to build an era. The message was clear and direct. Red Bull's dominance is no longer guaranteed. The gap with McLaren is real, and if important decisions are not made now, the balance of power on the grid could shift. And when Max talks about a lack of straight-line speed, hybrid traction issues, and instability in fast corners, he's not speaking from the perspective of a frustrated driver. He's speaking from the perspective of someone who's won enough to know when their car is no longer the best. And that's probably the clearest warning sign a team can receive. The immediate future of Red Bull and Verstappen is intertwined, but not guaranteed. If the team responds with intelligence, technical investment, and a clear vision, they still have time to regain control of the championship. In the coming weeks, we'll see if Red Bull has the capacity to respond to its star driver with actions, not just promises. Let me know your opinion in the comments. Do you think Max will continue to trust his team, or are we seeing the beginnings of a possible rupture? Is Red Bull still in time to save the season? If you want more in-depth analysis like this, subscribe to the channel.